Good morning, everyone, or whatever time it is, wherever you're at. Hey, I got another project going to start working on, pretty excited about. No, it's not this one behind me. I got to get this one out of the garage and be able to pull this other one in. But let's go take a look at, yeah, we'll call it a project. Well, if you ever heard of the Gambler 500, there's a Gambler 500 event coming to Montana, in Norris, Montana, at the end of June, 23rd through the 25th. Come check it out if you're in the area, or if you haven't heard of it before. Hey, Juniper. So anyway, I picked up a vehicle for the Gambler. Gambler started out as a $500 vehicle. Go out and run some beaters in the forest. The most important thing is keep our forest nice and clean. So that's what we're gonna do. So I picked up this little vehicle. Originally picked it up for some parts to swap into another one. Found out we're having a Gambler event. So now I got a Gambler truck. Pretty excited about it. So, yeah, let's check this thing out. All right, so here's my Gambler truck. That's my old Toyota parts truck there. We got a 1999 Chevy Blazer. Been rolled. Two-wheel drive, 4.3 liter, 4L60 automatic. It's only got 160,000 miles on it. Runs and drives. Picked this thing up for 500 bucks. And obviously you can see why. Still got some decent stuff left on it. But yeah, this is Gambler project. Take a quick look around this thing. Hey, the back's still good. But now it's time to fire this thing up. Get that truck out of the garage, pull this in, and go over what the plans are for this thing. All right, let's take a look at the old Gambler rig. Now, when this thing was rolled, what the tow company did is they pried open the hood and they ended up cutting the battery cable, which even jump starting this, it'll idle, but as soon as you try to drive it, it'll stop running. It'll shut itself off. So take a set of jumper cables and go from the cut cable to the battery post. Now you have a positive battery cable and the thing stays running. Look at that, light even works on the hood. All right, 4.3 Vortec, 190 horse. Thought it'd make a pretty good candidate. Of course, it's all busted up. Power windows even still work. Crazy. Except for that one, because it's busted out. Roof all jacked up, but not concerned about that. Tires even hold air. Get this thing up in the air and look it over and see what we got underneath. First order of business is we'll get this battery charged up, because I think it's a good battery. It says from 2018. Should be all right. You can't see down there, but the battery cable is cut. But if you take a jumper cable and go from the battery cable to the positive post on the battery, makes it run just fine. But the inside of this thing is just gross. You got glass, dirt, leaves, garbage, old CDs, everything. You know, the windshield's busted out. They had to kick it out when he rolled it. So we'll get all this out of here. I might try to jack the roof up a little bit. If I can jack the roof up and flatten it out enough to put a windshield in, I might do that, even if it takes a whole lot of goop. Either that, or the plan is just to cut it off here all the way back and just cut this entire roof off and just do some sort of little cage inside, windshield or no windshield, but just to make it all open top. And it's going to be all open top anyway, whether or not the windshield frame is there, or we just cut it right across the top here and take the whole rest of it off and have it all open. But time to get started on cleaning. What do these guys like to listen to? Jason Aldean and a mixtape. How cool is that? That's old school right there. Well, I got the roof jacked up a little bit. Don't know what it's supposed to look like to have a window in it, but who knows. Got some trim pulled off. Try to get this pulled out a little bit so I can get this mirror off here so the glass stops dropping on me while I'm working on it. And then we're going to go ahead and start cutting this glue to get this busted window out of there. The good thing about not caring about a vehicle is it doesn't matter what tool you use. Well, it doesn't want to play nice because it's all bent up, so that's fine. As you can see, or maybe not, I can't even get to the nuts. So, doesn't want to play nice? Fine. I can not play nice too. Alright, well, I got that mirror off and the glass sucked out of the door, which is way harder than it should have been. Now, I'm going to work on getting this windshield out. I don't have the correct tool for the Sawzall to put it on, but I've got a Sawzall and an oscillating saw, and some of this looks like it might even peel, so I'm just going to give it a go. Oscillating tool for the win. Just so you know, this is not the best way to get a windshield out. Wrong? Yes. Effective? Also yes. That's a win in my book. Something I didn't notice before, as you can see, the driver's side's kind of low. So I thought it was a low tire, but then look underneath, and that shackle is actually hitting the frame to where it's supposed to not. So, time to get this up in the air and see if that's a broken spring or a bent frame or what. Oh, maybe that's it right there. Well, a quick look underneath shows as expected. A little oil leak, all dirty. This exhaust was cut right there for some reason. Maybe the tow truck did that to get the oil out of the exhaust, I don't know. But then you get back here and you get a surprise. That's not right. Then you look up here. That's really not right. Oh well. That's why it's a gambler truck. Doesn't matter. Well, with the shackle thing figured out and a little bent frame spot, next thing I'm going to do, go ahead and get this drive shaft out. When I got it, the drive shaft was in the back of the truck, so I picked up the cheapest U-joint I could get just to put a couple caps on it to move the truck. And the caps kind of fit, but they don't really fit. So I need to change that whole U-joint out and make it so this truck is actually drivable. Oops. Well, couldn't get the U-joint in the drive shaft because I bought the super cheapest U-joint I could find at the parts store, And it didn't come with the bag of hardware. No C-clips, no Zerk fitting, no nothing. So it's lunchtime anyway. So off to the store to get some parts and grab some lunch. And finish this up in just a little bit. Okay, back from lunch. Got my parts. I think somebody pulled a fast one on the auto parts store. U-joint box did not have the hardware in it. Bag of C-clips and Zerk fittings was missing. So now I can finish this project. Okay, drive shaft's back in. Now, I just gotta address this situation here. All this oil, this truck spent a little bit of time upside down. It was wrecked, obviously. But, so now I just gotta figure out how to put that back together. Pull these clamps off. Looks like there's a coupler here. Maybe I just put a bigger coupler on it and see what happens. Okay, got a coupler in there for the exhaust. That's gonna work. I'm sure there's a couple other leaks. What I have discovered, see how far that's pulled out, is when this thing hit the ditch, it busted the transmission mount. And I don't know if you can see, but it busted both the engine mounts also. Yeah, hard to see up in there, but both the engine mounts are broke. So this whole thing slid forward, which explains, which explains why I had to pull these hoses forward with some tie wraps so the fan didn't hit it. The fan was hitting the shroud, but hey, it's a gambler truck. It's all good now. Took the battery cables that they cut, put in a splice connection on each one of them, wrapped them up. Back to the positive, negative. Lights working, so making connection. This thing should fire up.